Hello and welcome to our daily news program broadcast to you by Canal Algérie. To the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, reiterates his condolences to the Turkish and Syrian peoples in phone calls held with the two countries' heads of state. The Algerian teams on the spot are actively participating in the search and rescue operations in the earthquake-stricken areas. The former president of the Mouloudia of Algiers passes away, and the President of the Republic extends a message of condolences to the late's family. Good evening and welcome back. First, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, held a phone conversation with the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, during which he reiterated on his behalf and on behalf of the Algerian people the most sincere condolences following the devastating earthquake that hit southeastern Turkey, causing the death of thousands of people. The President of the Republic reaffirmed that Algeria is standing with Turkey in order to overcome these terrible circumstances. For his part, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan thanked President Tebboune for the aid and the assistance that Algeria granted to Turkey in the early hours following the terrible catastrophe, hailing on the occasion the solidarity shown by Algeria towards his country. President Abdelmajid Tebboune reaffirmed once again Algeria's availability to provide all kinds of aid for the Republic of Turkey. On Tuesday, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, held another phone conversation with the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, during which he reiterated on his behalf and on behalf of the Algerian people the most sincere condolences following the devastating earthquake which hit Syria, while reaffirming Algeria's support so that the brotherly Syrian people overcome this painful situation. For his part, the Syrian President thanked President Tebboune for his noble position, while hailing the solidarity shown by the Algerian people, and also for the fact that Algeria was among the first countries to respond to the aid call launched by the Syrian authorities. He also affirmed on the occasion that Syria recognizes in such circumstances the high values of the Algerian people and will not hesitate to ask for help from Algeria, their brotherly country. Turkey and Syria are counting their dead following the devastating earthquake that hit these two brotherly countries. According to the latest and provisional reports, the death toll stood at more than 7,000 victims in both countries, and it is likely to rise in the coming hours. In the meantime, the search and rescue operations are still underway to save people still stuck under the rubble. Humanitarian aid keeps flocking to the earthquake-stricken areas so as to alleviate the untold suffering of the affected population. In a related topic, the Algerian civil defense team already on the spot are actively taking part in the search and rescue operations in the earthquake-hit areas, to the great delight of the Turkish and Syrian peoples, who highly appreciated this lofty humanitarian move. More details with Melissa Kabash.
The Algerian rescue teams are already in Turkey. 86 doctors and agents of civil defense specialized in emergency interventions, alongside members of the Red Crescent, are now all mobilized to participate in the rescue operations, knowing that they've succeeded in rescuing a newborn and his mother who were stuck under the rubble. In the meantime, another group of civil defense landed in Syria, composed of 86 agents and 26 members of the Red Crescent, to bring help and support to those in need and participate in the rescue operations as well. A move that was warmly welcomed and appreciated by the Syrian people, who hailed this initiative taken by the Algerian government.
I thank the Algerian people and the Algerian government This country succeeded in breaking the blockade imposed on Syria. Above all, this is a humanitarian decision. Political positions may vanish, but humanity takes over. This is the Arab Brotherhood and the Arab nation.
We are very happy with the participation of our brothers from Algeria in the rescue operations.
The country of 1.5 million martyrs already gave so much and keeps giving the Arab nation. Therefore, we thank this brother country, Algeria, that always supported us during our crisis. The Algerian teams were the first to arrive in Aleppo to bring help and support. They are more than brothers to us. We thank them from the bottom of our hearts.
Syrians were relieved knowing that Algeria will always be faithful to its values and commitments in supporting brother countries, especially in these dire times.
On Tuesday, Abdelkader Drif, the former president of the Mouloudia of Algiers football club, passed away. The president of the republic extended a message of condolences in which he harked back on the long and lofty career of the late, who marked the history of the local Algerian football, and presented to the staff of the MCA, its fans, and to the family of the deceased his sincere condolences, praying Allah Almighty to welcome him in his vast paradise. To Allah we belong, and to him we shall return, concluded the President of the Republic. Later in the day, Abdelkader Drif was buried at the Al Qattar cemetery in the presence of his family, friends and companions, and a large crowd that attended the funeral and pay a vibrant tribute to this distinguished footballing figure. Abdelkader Drif, a leading figure in the MCA club, passed away, but his deeds are still here, notably the first continental trophy won under his aegis in 1976, the year in which he dominated the national contests as well. Flashback on his rich and lofty career with Najah Tayyar.
His name has always been associated with Mouloudia of Algiers and the very first prize-worthy continental trophy won by an Algerian team. Abdelkader Drif passed and is a loss of a great figure in the national football history, which emerged during the colonial period. We were at the age of 17 in the same circumstances and with the same beliefs of nationalism and dignity. I had the chance to learn the political values initiated by the spirit of Mouloudia. The young Abdelkader Drif discovered that Mouloudia of Algiers is more than just a football team, and soon after independence, Mouloudia of Algiers found itself faced with another challenge, that is of titles, particularly on the continental level, a challenge that Abdelkader accepted without hesitation. The arrival of Abdelkader Drif at the head of Mouloudia of Algiers was marked by the historical triple in 1976 with the title of champion, the Algerian Cup, and also with the first continental trophy of the country, the African Cup of Champions Clubs. Other distinctions were snatched during the era of Abdelkader Drif, one of the greatest football figures in the Algerian football history. And even away from coaching, the man remained faithful to the club throughout his life. And during his last appearance on a TV set, he wanted to deliver a message to the younger generations. We have to work with the same spirit and goals that made our history. This statement is deemed as a message for the younger generations to keep the same philosophy, so as to preserve the rich legacy of the late Drif and the remarkable footballing legend.
In another topic, Algeria's Premier Ayman bin Abdurrahman received on Tuesday the Palestinian Minister of Interior Ziad Habbarih, now on a visit to Algeria. The Palestinian minister put forward Algeria's position supporting the Palestinian cause and the President of the Republic's initiative, crowned with the signing of the Algiers Declaration for the Palestinian Unity. The meeting was also an opportunity to discuss the bilateral relations and the latest developments regarding the Palestinian file. In a different activity, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad, Ramtala Mamra, took part in a high-level meeting on governance in Africa held via video conference. Held under the aegis of the African peers, the meeting is organized ahead of the 36th Summit of the African Union, due to be held in Addis Ababa on the 18th and 19th of the current month. Moving on to the Algerian-Mauritanian partnership, the first joint commission in higher education was held under the chairmanship of the two ministers of the two countries. It is worth recalling that several agreements were already signed in this sector, including a twinning program between universities based in the two countries. Still in the African continent, Algeria and Tunisia are to celebrate today a great event which took place in Saqiet Sidi Youssef, a milestone in the two countries' history and a highly symbolic moment binding the two neighboring countries. Najah Tayyar with the details.
The border post of Saqiet Sidi Youssef is a symbolic heritage of solidarity and brotherhood spirit between the Algerian and Tunisian peoples. We are one and we share the same traditions. We have strong relations with our Algerian brothers. Algeria is my second country. There is no difference between us and the Algerians. We never have any issue entering this border post. We always receive a good welcome. All the necessary conditions are provided in order to assure a smooth passing procedure to the Tunisian and the Algerian passengers. There is no difference between the Algerian and Tunisian citizens. Our mission is to facilitate the passageway formalities and guarantee security. February 8th is a milestone in the relations binding for the two countries. We jointly organize many programs and events, such as the medical caravan that passes by this region every February 8th to provide health care to patients at the level of Lahtada and Saqiet Sidi Youssef. An event with great significance in the common history of the two brother countries due to its solidarity and brotherhood symbolism.
Moving on to the international news, the Polisario Front will not participate in any process outside the joint UN-African Union settlement plan. The president of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic, Brahim Ghali, the Secretary General of the Polisario Front, reaffirmed this statement in a letter addressed to the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, informing him of the conclusions of the 16th Congress of the Polisario Front. Brahim Ghali also said that the only applicable and practical solution to decolonize Western Sahara is the exercise of the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination and freedom. And the situation keeps worsening in the Moroccan territories. As always, the Moroccan people are facing a terrible regime, incapable neither to lead nor to respond to their basic needs, and is using all kinds of violent means to put an end to their peaceful manifestations. Story by Melissa Kabash.
Moroccan police forces are using all means to put an end to the teachers' demonstrations who are demanding their legitimate rights, namely their promotion. Despite the violations carried against them, teachers are standing strong and are determined to continue their fight.
مع العلم أنها مسيرة سلمية مع قطع طريق ما يثبت عنا أن نقوم بأي فعل غير قانوني. عنصر البوليس كلكم صورتوا جاكم الأساتذة سير خذ 4000 درهم وسكت بزاف عليك أنت مجرد معلم عنصر البوليس هو.
The National Coordination for its Party accused the Central Trade Union of treason by choosing the side of usurpers of rights after the cycle of cooperation to prepare the final version of the status of education professions that might destroy the achievements of all workers. These demonstrations are carried out to denounce the tyranny of the Mahsan regime, the high cost of living, and the violations perpetrated against the Moroccan people, already facing numerous socio-economic crises. As always, the Mahsan is accused of being incapable to lead or to deal with the people's concerns and grievances.
والله حلوا لنا البلاد حنا نهربوا الاخوان وحق الله تحلوا لنا البلاد ولا تنهربوا وحق ربنا من الناس اللي باغي يهرب من البلاد حلوا لنا الحدود ولا تنهربوا على هذه الاسعار هذه بزاف الاخوان حلوا لنا راسي خلينا نهربوا والله طلقونا نشوف حالاتنا من هذه البلاد. Faced
with the silent regime, Moroccans took to the streets to voice their need, concerns and fed up of this regime that uses violence and repression as a tool to put an end to the demonstrations taking place across the Moroccan territories.
And with that, we wrap up our today's news edition. Thank you so much for joining us, and goodbye.